Hey, this is Coach Booth, Booth's B-Ball Breakdown, talking to you today from my office. This is episode 2 of Booth's B-Ball Breakdown. No invited guests today, as I have my granddaughter as my first guest in my first episode. I guess my guest that I have today is my dog August, who's out of the camera and you can't see him. But anyway, I wanted to kind of kick it off with two things today. One, talking about surviving through this quarantine and just kind of some perspectives on that as a coach, as a leader, uh, to some degree a motivational speaker. Wanted to give some nuggets on that. And then I wanted to talk to those athletes and coaches out there and give you some things to think about while we are dealing with COVID-19, albeit coronavirus. So first of all, there's a thing that I always speak about, something called chess, not checkers. So whether I'm coaching basketball or I'm doing some motivational speaking or leading a team in my corporate life, um, I tend to talk about how life is chess, not checkers. Even your job or, playing ball or dealing with just circumstances, it is definitely chess, not checkers. Checkers, as we know, straightforward game, not too much movement, not too much lateral or vertical movement. It's just really sort of you go and you capture pieces till you can get a king, and then the king gives you a little bit more versatility. You can have many kings on the board, but the thing is, with checkers, all pieces are considered the same until you can double up and make them a king. That's simple. Chess is a game of strategy. It's a game of offense and defense. It's a game of being analytical, thinking 3 steps ahead. So let's take this chess game that we're in now called COVID-19, quarantine, coronavirus, whatever you want to call it. Chess is a game where you can sit on the board and anticipate. Now, we know the country kind of watched the board and watch the aggression of the board, whether it be from China, Italy, other places, South Korea, and we did not react quick enough. We did not prepare. We felt that the movement of all the chess pieces in the world, all these countries in the world as chess pieces, was not going to impact us. Therefore, we slipped. And then because the country slipped and kept us less informed or didn't give us the option to be able to get ready for something, then we slipped as individuals. We did not see this coming, not to this magnitude. We felt, hey, few people might get sick. Even when people were getting sick, no big deal, no whatever. Now we have a pandemic, pan being panic, pandemic. We have outbreaks. We have all types of craziness. So I don't want to repeat what the media is repeating. But let me just say a couple of things, okay? Number one, our immune system is built to deal with shit. Excuse my language, but it's true. And we got to make sure that in quarantine or in the things that we need to do, because the government is requiring us to do these things and to distance ourselves, etc. I agree. But at the end of the day, trust God, trust your immune system. Trust that this machine that He has built with the things that it does, from having hair, eyebrows, all these things to protect you from germs, your internal system that is able to fight germs, an immune system, all of that works. That's why a great percentage of these people that get it is either asymptomatic or they don't get sick. The people that are getting sick and are dying are people that have usually 3 other things going on in their life. And in those cases, and sometimes you got 3 things going on, you don't even know they're going on, right? You think that you don't know that you have a pulmonary issue, or and all of a sudden it comes to life when you get pneumonia or you get sick from this thing. So the mere fact that our bodies can handle it, you got to understand it's not so much what they're worried about. They're worried about overflooding a system, overflooding a medical system that is not prepared to deal with thousands and thousands or hundreds of thousands of people being sick at the same time. And that's the problem. So your system can't handle it. So you want to level off how many people have to go to the hospital. And you also want to level off this testing so that the more tests you give, the more people will be sick and the more people are going to run to the hospital, and you can't handle it. So that's why they want to level it off. You got to see between the lines. Everything is about trying to level things off. And so they create this pandemic, this media scare that keeps everybody stuck in the house so that if you get sick, then boom. Like right now, we are okay. We can handle flu. We can test flu in a minute or two, find out that you got the flu, give you some antibiotics, hit you with Z-Pack or whatever, send your butt home. We good, unless you have a real severe case where you're compromised by pneumonia, keep you in the hospital for a day, whatever. But this here right here is not designed to have that on top of the flu and on top of everything else. So it's the system that's broke. And because the system's that broke and the United States hasn't played chess, and I don't care which president you want to blame, I don't have a problem with that. The issue is that the system is broke. They don't want you going to the hospital. So therefore, they are sparsing out the testing so that by the time people come up positive, they already got cured, get them out of the hospital, get the next wave of people. That's what's going on in that. Now, how does that impact you individually? Well, individually, you have to do, I think, a few things. But one, you need to trust in God in all that you do. Lean not into your own understanding. And always acknowledge him, and he'll make your path straight. Proverbs 3:5-6. That's important. Trust that God has built this machine to handle it, to deal with anything that's going on. That's the trust. Second thing, you have to prepare. Now, we've been forced to prepare, because this is what I call forced transition, right? You have either prepared transition or forced transitions. Like if you're going to leave your job, you go out and hunt, look for a job, you prepare mentally, you prepare physically to get a new job. Then you leave, you transition. But when you are all of a sudden come in and your company says we're closing the doors, or we lost some accounts, we got to let you go, or we don't like you, we got to let you go, that's considered forced transition. And then you sit here with your pants down and say, where do I go? What do I do? This is what's happening with this pandemic. It is forced transition. Now, we didn't have time to prepare. And in some cases, we're filled with preparing by buying up all the groceries, buying up all the toilet paper, and buying up all the paper towel, etc., sanitizer, you name it. But we aren't preparing ourselves for things like school closures, schools being shut down, businesses stopping, can't go sit in a restaurant, can't go really visit your family, can't have a birthday party with more than 10 people, can't do these things. This is unforeseen, nothing to prepare for. So the lesson we have to learn in our lives is we have to prepare for craziness. Now, we always think about craziness as, back in the day, you should build bomb shelters, etc., because they was afraid of that. No, this is about the way that we live. The freedoms that we have been compromised. And now we have trickle-down effects from everything from let's try to scare people to stay home, so we have less people going to the hospital, less people going to the hospital, let's shut down businesses to make the scare really real. Now the scare is really real. Now you got to be home, and now you're home, you got to ration your food, you got to ration your toilet paper, and all of a sudden now, no schools in some states, no restaurants, no this, no that. Now, people are losing their jobs. So the pandemic is now getting out of control. And so it's so out of control that there's no fix. So today you're hearing now, it's going to be over in a week. You can't say it's going to be over in a week because you just don't know. So what they're going to do is say, hey, let's take the risk, let people go back to socializing, let people go back to doing business so that they could ramp things up again and then shut it back down so that the hospitals could handle the wave of people who are going to get sick after they get back together for about a month. And here comes another rash of sickness. So you got to be careful with that. Prepare for that. Absolutely prepare for that. Secondly, in your preparation, you have to now transition into what it's like to live a little bit differently. And I'm going to just take it home to the sports people. I'm a basketball guy, a basketball coach, a basketball businessman. My business has been shut down. My coaching has been shut down. So did I prepare for this? Absolutely not. Did not have a backup plan. I said, let me sit and wait and see what happens. But with closures of schools, which is a lot of was primary place I do my business in the sports season, it's not there. I'm forced to transition. I'm forced to come up with a plan B, or I'm forced to just walk away from it this year and do something different, right? It's all good because I'm not going to go into panic mode and I'm not going to create a pandemonium in my household or in my mind or in my life. I'm going to trust God and He's going to present something to me to go in a different direction. That's what we have to do, okay? You young men and ladies that used to go to a gym to work out, get shots up, do all those different things, you didn't prepare to say, well, the gym is closed, what can I do? Do you have within your training plans backups? I can't get to the gym, so assuming it snowed, you're just gonna sit in the house and do nothing? Or you're gonna create some things, use your creative mind to figure out, how do I get it together? How do I prepare? How do I work out, right? You have to now transition in a way that you were not prepared to do. And so when life hits you with something that you have not planned, you have not prepared for, then guess what you got to do? You got to learn to manage the craziness. The first thing is you got to keep your mind right. So meditation, prayer, and focus is important. Another thing in keeping your mind right, you have to remain calm. You have to remain calm. Don't look at the news all day long. Don't look at the media. Trust your immune system. Trust that God built a perfect body that can handle it. If you have other issues that could be compromised, then you have to protect yourself like you would do during any flu season or anything. You just can't expose yourself to certain things. If you are elderly, obviously the same thing. Just chill. Don't expose yourself because too many people around you can get you sick. But at the end of the day, manage. Manage your lifestyle, manage your emotions, stay focused, remain calm. And then the last thing is to organize your thoughts. Organize what you're going to do every day when you now are forced to work from home. When you're forced to look at your family members 24/7. When you're forced to be in the house with your kids 24/7. When you're forced to not be with your friends or be with your girlfriend or be with your people. A lot of people don't even talk about that. Your relationships, especially young people that aren't married. You know, your relationships are compromised. You know, you fall in love with somebody, whatever. Don't spend 8 to 10 hours on the phone with them because you can't see them or FaceTiming them or Skyping them. You got to manage it differently now. You got to handle your business a little bit differently. And you have to organize how your days are going to go from the time you wake up to the end of the day. You got to keep it moving. The one thing that I failed to do was to develop an exercise plan. So yeah, I was like everybody else, stack the fridge up, stack the pantry up, plenty of options to eat things. But guess what? I got to limit my meals because I'm not moving. Walking around the neighborhood is okay, but I'm not moving nowhere near when I would get in 10 to 15,000 steps a day. I'm probably getting in 1,500 steps a day. It's crazy. So I got to figure out a plan to keep moving. And even when everything so-called opens up, I got to continue to move. So being resilient, having contingencies, stay focused, remain calm, and be organized. And lastly, trusting God. That's my advice to you from Coach Booth. That is B-ball breakdown. I didn't really get into the basketball workouts. I'm going to shoot some videos for that for the players. But other than that, I'm going to see you on the other side as we go through the forced transition. But just know there's a reason behind everything. And always, always, in the words of Flavor Flav, don't always believe the hype. This is Coach Booth. Thanks for listening. Peace.